from the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast.
Coming up on Ag Day, cold weather presses south as 2018 nears. Plus, could changes to cotton safety net make it more competitive with peanuts? In agribusiness, the macroeconomy role.
They're constantly complaining about needing people to work.
A look at cattle markets for 2018 and Oh Christmas Tree. This Dakota couple has a collection that takes 6 weeks to display.
Ag Day, presented by the Chevy Silverado. High-strength steel for high-strength dependability.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Dangerous cold and piles of snow are making for a frigid finish to 2017. A dip in the jet stream pulling Arctic air into the Midwest, International Falls, Minnesota, starting Wednesday at negative 36 degrees, and that does not include the wind chill. Now that beats a previous low set back in 1924. The outbreak setting records across the Midwest and Missouri. It's one of the coldest 2 to 3 day periods ever. Meanwhile, in Erie, Pennsylvania, snowfall totals are breaking records there, receiving more than 60 inches of snow over the last 3 days. Wind chill advisories and warnings are stretching from Maine to North Dakota.
All I could do was laugh. You know, it's a little ridiculous, but I keep pecking away at it and we'll get it clear.
Between minus 10 and minus 20 already in parts of the Dakotas, in Minnesota, and certainly with any bit of wind giving us some dangerous wind chills. Once we get into later in the week and the weekend, guess what? We've got another round of much colder air moving in, again, equally as cold as this one.
Forecasters say these below normal temperatures could reach south to the Gulf Coast states. Now in those southern states, the USDA says both peanut and cotton producers may have a record crop on their hands. This as Washington leaders continue to propose changes or fixes to the safety net for cotton growers. Betsy Gibbon reports on how the current program is enticing more acres to peanuts.
There's a lot of cotton to go around at the Hoke Robinson Gin in Red Springs, North Carolina. U.S. cotton growers may be producing the largest yield on record in 2017. Not only a significant yield increase, but expected acreage increase of 21.4 million acres this year, up 25% from 2016.
Everybody's yields have been spectacular. The quality of the cotton is spectacular.
However, even though cotton prices closed higher towards the end of December, growers like Edens say it's hard for cotton to stay competitive with the price of peanuts. Part of the reason may lie with the Farm Bill.
There was no peanuts grown in this county until the new Farm Bill.
The peanut reference price is set at $535 per ton under the PLC safety net and the current Farm Bill.
Peanuts definitely got the good deal in the Farm Bill.
If a grower needs to collect a PLC payment, the price is based on a formula, which is the difference between the reference price in the Farm Bill and a national average marketing price through the marketing year, which has been floating around $400 per ton. Peanut growers have been seeing payments of around $100 per ton the past 2 years.
Right now, farmers are fairly comfortable with what we've got. It's providing, a safety net that they can depend on when they go to the bank, and that's the biggest thing.
So in 2016, a lot of growers planted possibly just for payments because they were going to be so good because contracts were low. So, and then 2017, because of increased demand, especially by China, we saw contract prices go up a great deal. So we had 2 back-to-back years of supportive prices for peanuts versus cotton.
Taylor expects a lower payment for the next peanut crop.
Contract prices for the 2018 crop will certainly be less than they were pre-plant for the 2017 crop.
This comes at a time when the U.S. is on track to produce the largest peanut harvest on record.
We're excited about the big production year because that means that farmers made big yields, and when we have low prices for alternative crops, they need all the income they can get.
And in its last crop production report, USDA says the U.S. peanut crop saw climbing planted acres, harvested acres, and yield. which may create more of a glut.
We were worried that warehouses weren't even going to be able to hold them. We didn't even know we'd have somewhere to put the excess peanuts because nobody had contracted enough. So we had a big crop last year, but China imported a lot from us. And if they don't do the same this year, I'm afraid that contract prices may slip heavily.
But some peanut producers see it as an opportunity.
We're still exporting peanuts all over the world. So export demand is strong. Consumer demand in the U.S. continuing to grow.
So we've seen a real transformation in where peanuts are produced in the U.S. We've also had technology that's allowed us to become more efficient producers.
As the battle between cotton and peanuts continues, the next farm bill may continue to play a bigger role in what's grown here. Reporting for AgDay, I'm Betsy Gibbon.
All right, thanks, Betsy. On Wednesday, March cotton futures were on the rise. The contract gaining more than $1 at one point, closing in on the 80-cent per hundred mark. Also on the board, orange juice futures trading lower for a 15th straight day. It's the worst rout in records dating back to 1967. Weak demand, a declining citrus crop in Florida, and outside imports are tempering investor interest. Prices have slumped about 17% this month. Even though I grew up in New Mexico, I still had to deal with some cold mornings while doing chores. Cindy Clausen shares some of that cold weather misery in crop comments. Good morning, Cindy.
Thanks, Clinton. The Arctic blast across the northern United States makes farm chores miserable. We received this photo from Wyatt Bechtel, who is with our reporting partners at Drovers. His brother was chopping ice on a stock pond at their ranch in Kansas. They've had below freezing temperatures the past couple of days, but no snow. Now, the ice was 2.5 inches thick. The drought monitor puts their ranch in the abnormally dry category. Water levels are not looking great heading into winter. Looking at our wind forecast for today, there are just a few problem areas. One is going to be at least early today in the northeast. We're going to be looking at continued high winds, especially in those higher elevations as you get into Wyoming and into Colorado as well. Northern plains and on into eventually the Great Lakes are going to see some stronger winds as we head through the next 24 to 36 hours, as well as kind of a low pressure system starts to swing across the northern tier of states. That's your wind forecast, but for now, here are some hometown temps.
Farm Journal On Air is the go-to app for American agriculture. AgDay, AgriTalk, U.S. Farm Report, and more. 24/7 access to all of your favorite shows, TV and radio. In your hands, on demand. Farm Journal On Air. Download the app today.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the general economy and what it means for agriculture. Plus, meet a couple married for a half century and how they like to celebrate the Christmas season.
AgDay, brought to you by Alivo Seed Treatment from Bayer. Protect your soybeans from SDS and nematodes this season.
Receive a free trial of the Daily Grain Plan newsletter from Roach Ag Marketing. Text Roach to 31313. Start your subscription today by texting Roach to 31313.
In agribusiness, a mixed day at midweek for commodity markets. Let's see how things closed from the floor of the CME in Chicago.
Soybeans were mixed today. They really started higher, went lower, came back, and then they kind of ended a little bit lower. The U.S. dollar index was a little bit lower, so that offered some support, but not as much as we were hoping. In the corn, we also was rising. There was some spillover effect from the soybeans, and it really had some modest gains. So that really moved it up a little bit higher. There's been a quiet market, kind of leaves the futures adrift a little bit, and traders are patiently waiting for some fundamental news to really give it some direction. Wheat also was rebounding, and the frigid temperatures really sparked some buying interest. That's all from the floor at the CME Group here in Chicago. I'm Virginia McGaffey.
Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, our guest here at the Agribusiness Desk. All right, Tommy, if we look back on 2017, one thing I don't know if everyone expected was the hot economy that we've had in the U.S. I mean, the stock market, the Dow's jumped up 5,000 points, first time ever, right?
Mm-hmm. And one of the greatest runs in stock market history. If you're anybody who employs people, it's very hard to get talented labor that's dependable.
Sure.
I have a friend in Minnesota who has a business, construction business, and he has more jobs than he can handle, and he can't get help fast enough. So how does it tie into the ag economy? Same thing, there's a labor problem. when I talk to my largest, best customers, they're constantly complaining about needing people to work, and there's the difference between what they're willing to pay and what people can go off the farm and get a job is they're losing their good help to other jobs. Obviously, if you're not working in America, you probably at this point don't want to, because I have not went to any business, restaurant, hotel that didn't have a help wanted sign. It may not be the job you want.
Right.
It may not be a great job making $75,000 a year with health insurance, but if you want to go work 3 part-time jobs, you can get that job. You probably still won't get the health insurance. So a lot of people, when you talk about great jobs, health insurance is a very touchy subject and something a lot of farmers and growers are talking about. And it all ties into this hot economy. There's just, we're going to see next year as the economic numbers come out that the labor markets is tight. And so then we might see something called wage inflation. And that's real inflation. You get the prices going up, wages going up. That's old school economics, something we haven't seen in years. And then we'd have something to talk about. So when companies start competing for talent, that's how you get wage inflation.
Yeah, and as you look into 2018, do we expect this run, do economists expect this run to continue that we've been on in the general economy, GDP plus 4% or whatever?
Yeah, in times past when we were on the show, we talked about the economy. We said we're going 45 miles an hour down a highway, the speed limit's 55. We're going 60 and a 55 now. We're heating up.
Okay.
And so it's not the ag economy necessarily on fire, but everybody in many aspects besides ag is the one subject that you're like, wow, look at some of these farmers are struggling and other companies are doing so well. So I don't see what makes it stop. Possibly a conflict, a black swan. There's events. Just look at these hurricanes. Look at these hurricanes. How many jobs those produced in Texas and Florida? We're rebuilding America. Our roads, our homes. These storms are bringing huge opportunities for job growth. I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
All right, Tommy, appreciate it. We'll be back with more AgDay. Smith.
Interested in spending a day with a trader? Call Tommy Grisafi at 800-664-4383. AgDay, brought to you by Creden soybean seed from Bayer, designed using smart genetics with tailored varieties to fit any field condition.
Welcome back to AgDay. Here with Cindy Clausen. Now, Cindy, we were talking about the cold weather getting here and then going away, but it sounds like it's sticking around for a little while.
It is going to be stubborn. We'll put it that way.
Right.
It's going to be really bothersome for a lot of folks, as we talked about in Crop Watch. I mean, farmers still got to get out and do their chores, and yeah, you're going to have to do it in the cold. Let's take a look at the map. And this cold stretches even down into the southeastern United States, where they're seeing abnormally chilly temperatures. We have high pressure and control right now in the eastern parts of the Great Lakes, but we have yet another system that's going to be coming through the upper Midwest that's going to be bringing some more snow and then eventually more, yes, lake effect snow. We're going to see not a whole lot of movement with this front here, so that's going to continue the chance for some snow in the northwest and some rain as you get over into the lower elevations of the Pacific Northwest as well. Some scattered rain showers are going to be affecting parts of the southeast today. Putting this into motion, that high pressure slowly moves on off to the east. Low moves into now the western Great Lakes, so look for some snow moving through there. Snow and lower elevation rain into the northwestern part of the country. Notice the southwest fairly dry, and much of the south is going to be dry other than the southeast. Low moves tomorrow morning through the Great Lakes region, so again, more snow and lake effect snow. We haven't seen a ton of movement from this, but it is making slow progress to the east as that low starts to move into the northern parts of Idaho. And then as we get in through the day on Friday, we'll continue to see just real slow movement of both of those systems, mainly affecting parts of the Great Lakes and into the northwest. All right, as far as precipitation is concerned, as the last 24 hours has been mainly just into the northwest, there hasn't been a ton of measurable precipitation, but when you factor in the next 24 hours, it's going to be especially in the northwest, and a lot of that in the form of snow. Speaking of snow, let's take a look at some of those amounts. It's been fairly heavy in some of those higher elevations in the northwest, and as you tack on the next 24 hours, we're just going to be adding to that, and we'll add more snow in the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes. Temperature-wise, it's still cold, but it's actually at least a little bit better today than what we were looking at yesterday. We're still dealing with some single digits across the far northern tier of states, but we're seeing temperatures generally a little bit warmer today in many parts of the country. Just a few degrees, not a ton. It's still really cold out there. We're still looking at some temperatures getting below zero as we get into the overnight hours tonight, but again, just slightly warmer than what we have seen the past 24 hours or so. And then as we get into tomorrow, just Again, similar temperatures, very chilly for this time of the year in most of the country. That's a look at your national forecast. Now let's check out the weather where you live. Sweet Home, Oregon, rain likely for you today with a high temperature of 47 degrees. Park Falls, Wisconsin, very cold with snow likely, a high of 4. That's actually warmer than yesterday. And some rain for Jessup, Georgia.
All right, our Drovers Report is next, including a look at market expectations for the new year. And later, putting up the decorations are fun. Taking them down can often be a challenge if it's a job this big.
AgDay, brought to you by Liberty Herbicide, the simply better solution for superior weed control and a stronger yield.
And news from our reporting partners at Drovers. While most agricultural enterprises are in the midst of an economic downtrend, the cattle and beef markets remain modestly profitable for ranchers. Sterling Marketing President John Nalivka calculated the ledger. He says cow-calf operations saw average profits of $143 per cow on a cash basis during 2017. But as Drovers editor Greg Henderson explains, those profits won't stick around in the new year.
He expects those average profits to drop to $98 per cow in 2018, due largely to pressure from increases in supplies of all red meat and poultry. Over the past 3 years, increasing production of beef, pork, and poultry have been encouraged by low grain prices, and at this point it appears those lower grain costs will keep meat supplies growing next year.
Economists projected red meat and poultry supplies will grow by 3 billion pounds in 2018, but despite increasing supplies, Nalivka doesn't necessarily expect sharply lower prices in 2018. He says cattle and beef prices were better than expected in 2017 due to increased demand and strong exports. All right, did you take down your Christmas tree? Next, we'll meet a couple that may take their sweet old time putting away the Christmas decorations.
AgDay, brought to you by the Enlist Weed Control System. More weed control, less drift and volatility, maximum yield potential. In the Country, sponsored by Kubota. Tractors, hay tools, utility vehicles, mowers, and more. Visit Kubota.com today.
Christmas is past us. Some of you may have already taken down the tree. Well, in my household, we like to keep it decorated until the new year. Well, there's a family in North Dakota that takes 6 weeks to set up all the Christmas trees in their house. And with so many precious ornaments, it may take just as long to box them away. So how many trees do they have, may you wonder? Cliff Naylor from affiliate KFYR says the magic number is 48.
Oh Christmas tree, how numerous are your branches? Tom and Joanne Jacobson's home is garnished with Yuletide.
I am out of space.
This couple knows how to keep Christmas. They've been married 48 years and adorn 48 trees with a multitude of ornaments.
Most of these ornaments I didn't even know she had.
Joanne started collecting decorations in 1967. She arranges them according to themes.
This is a gingerbread tree, nothing but gingerbread.
There's also a Russian tree, fairy tree, nutcracker tree, snowman, Santa, peacock, owl, and circus tree.
The goose feather tree is made with the pin feathers from the geese, and then they dye it, of course. You don't have green geese.
A green pickle is hidden in every one. The old German Christmas tradition adds intrigue to the decor.
Whoever found the pickle in the tree would receive a special gift.
Joanne grew up on a dairy farm, so one tree has an agricultural angle. It took 6 weeks to set up this winter wonderland. Joanne says this is the last time she's going to be able to deck the halls 48 times.
The kids are supposed to come and pick out what they want and take down the tree.
The Jacobsons have 5 children and 11 grandkids, so this enormous ornament collection will remain in the family for many Christmases to come. I'm Cliff Naylor, reporting for AgDay.
Now, this is the last Christmas the Jacobsons will set up all those trees. Cliff says they're turning 80 next year, and it's just too much work. After the Jacobsons were married 48 years ago, their very first Christmas tree was a tumbleweed, spray painted green and decorated with one string of lights. That's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.
AgDay, brought to you by Ram Commercial, America's longest lasting heavy duty pickups.